know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with our legendary tight end legend, Jason Dunn. JD, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, my brother? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready for the Super Bowl 54 rematch.
Yeah. We got those guys, huh? That's right. We got those guys this week. Hey, and it's going to turn out the same like it did last time. So, hey, I can't wait.
I hope so. Yeah, they actually asked Andy Reid if a jet ship wasp was still in the playbook, and he said no, it's no longer in the playbook.
Nah, that's morphed into something else. Believe me. So, still going to be effective, whatever it is they call. Still going to be effective.
Yeah,
play. So yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be a good game, good test, especially after this loss this past week. And I seen that's something where Patrick was talking about refocusing. Like if these guys are going to be refocused this week, it's a great team to do it against, right? And so San Fran's got a good defense, and so it's going to be a good test for our offense to go against a good defense, put up some points on these guys. So
yeah, and I know as of 2 weeks ago, San Francisco's numbers that I think someone pulled up like that. Obviously, this is a 2022 ball, but San Francisco's numbers were rivaling the 1985 Bears defense as far as certain statistical numbers. And that was obviously only 4 weeks into the season, but that was as of 2 weeks ago. I know since then they took some lumps with the loss against Atlanta this past week, but San Francisco's defense, no joke.
No, ain't no joke, man. But hey, shoot, they ain't had the Chiefs yet. No, you lose to Atlanta. Atlanta ain't really who you got over there. They trying to grab straws to see who they got. So yeah, that's we come in town. We a whole different animal. So they better be ready.
Yeah, we got a full on preview for the game this coming weekend, and we also got some free agency news we're going to talk about too as well. That's been kind of taking over the Twitter timelines for everybody in Chiefs Kingdom. The potential news of us bringing in a high profile guy. Honestly, I feel like since we started the show, I think every year we've had that. We had Le'Veon the first year, and then we had Josh Gordon last year, and then potentially this guy this year, JD. So it's another big name guy potentially coming to Kansas City.
Who is it? I'd like to know.
We're gonna talk about that in the first topic. Before that, we want to remind everybody to subscribe to the Chief Concerns channel and also review us on our podcast to be a part of our giveaways we're trying to give to you guys as we approach the holiday season. We're trying to give away some Chiefs jewelry to you guys. We have the video that we've shown online, and it's also on our channel as well. So be sure to check that out and see what potential giveaways you could get. We're trying to give away some stuff to you guys. All you got to do is subscribe and give us a review on our podcast. So, just do that. And also make sure to go to the GLD shop and use our promo code Chief Concerns for 33% off anything you want from that website. So if you don't get the giveaway, well, you can probably get the giveaway for yourself just using our promo code on the website. So are happy to do that giveaways for you guys. So, JD, you ready for the old to start the show and hear what that name you want to know about?
100%, of course, absolutely. So who we got? Want to know?
Right. So the big news of the week we started off with was Monday. We heard that the Chiefs had restructured Travis Kelce's contract to create some cap space. Immediately, everyone just kind of like, oh my gosh, what are we talking about? We're creating cap space for what? And then Chris Sims yesterday of NBC Sports says he's heard the Chiefs are making a run at Odell Beckham Jr. And Travis Kelce was asked on his New Heights podcast from his brother if something was going on, if OBJ was going to come, because that's what the move was for. And Kelce said he had no idea. He just said his agent calls him Saturday, said, hey, they want to create cap space. We're going to restructure your contract, which means I'm going to get my money now. And he was totally fine with that. But he said, quote, he thinks there's a move in the air. A move could be coming. But he also did say in that same breath that he's heard nothing about OBJ coming to Kansas City based on anything he's heard at the facility and anything. But that doesn't mean that OBJ is not coming. He just hasn't heard anything. Right. So JD, we broached the topic a little bit last year, a little bit when it was either Josh Gordon or OBJ, and then one of our post game shows we kind of touched on him a little bit. But what would you make of OBJ potentially coming to Kansas City, and how would he fit? And also, Aaron Wilson of Pro Football Network also verified all these reports too, saying that the Chiefs are a major threat to sign Odell Beckham Jr., but also among 5 other teams. But the Chiefs are the major team right now. So what do you think of OBJ's fit in Kansas City?
Chiefs are a major team so far is what we're talking. What do I think about the fit? I think, a talent like OBJ, of course, would fit probably in any offense, except the one that Mayfield is at the helm of, right? So, hey, we ain't Baker Mayfield down here, man. We got Patrick Mahomes, and he gets the ball to everybody. And so when you have a guy that's talented as Odell Beckham Jr., who can catch the football like no other, can run great routes, that's just another weapon. It's another arrow in your quiver, right? That's what it is. And so why not, try to get a guy like that here? So the fit, and I look at it like this. We got talented guys already. Okay. We got MVS, we got JuJu, we got Sky Moore. We know the number one is going to be Travis Kelce. We got McCole Hardman. Okay. We got Justin Watson. And so we got guys that are here. Another guy like that who is a high caliber guy, high talented guy like OBJ, we're just going to add on to our offense. And so he's one of those dudes, man, that could really light it up. He could absolutely light it up. I think the question, the bigger question is when he comes back, how effective will he be off of this second ACL injury, right? I mean, that's the concern of it. And so when you're talking about back-to-back 2 years of ACLs tears, that's concerning. Let's just be honest. That is a concern that you have to have as an organization. And so if you're able to have a guy like that here with this type of talent, clearly it's going to be it just improve everything. But like I said, you always had to have the concern about how this guy is going to pan out injury-wise. Mm-hmm. Now, from what I understand, he's talking about probably return is going to be somewhere like mid-December, right? That's what he's projecting right now, and getting out on the field is mid-December. And so even if you sign him here, he's not going to be ready. He's going to be learning the offense, try to get some things right, getting ready, which is good. Just kind of learn everything, see everything, just being in the facility. And so what I've heard, he's a pretty bright guy. So he would be tremendous in this offense. He really would.
So, okay, so we talk about the veterans we brought in before, and I've seen a lot. There's a mixed bag. You have a lot of people who are excited about Odell Beckham, but then you have people who say, well, we brought in Le'Veon, that didn't work out. We brought in Shady, that didn't really work out. We brought in Josh Gordon, and obviously, we know how that ended, right? What do you say to the people who are skeptical as far as we have a complex playbook, Odell wouldn't be able to come in right away and make a difference?
I think a guy like Odell probably wouldn't take him that long to learn this offense. to at least to get him some play time, right? I mean, you just want his presence out on the football field. He knows how to get open. He knows how to find windows and find holes. So you could, until he really learns the whole offense, you could just have him, learn a portion of what he needs to do in certain plays and certain packages you can have him in, if you will. And so, you just had to see. You had to see, how his retention of the information is, right? I mean, that's the main thing is like when he comes in, hey, what do you do on this play? What do you do on this play? And so when you sit in meetings, kind of running around, he's watching everything. The thing is, he has some guys here that came from other teams to kind of help out with maybe the terminology of like, hey man, we called it this over here. This is this route. This is this concept over here. And so this is what they look and they want from you. And so it's good to have kind of, veteran guys who have been in different systems before can help with that transition also too. And so Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, he seemed like he was very excited, just even saying his name with that type of talent being possible to get a guy like that up to speed. I don't think that'd be an issue at all. And so, like I said, if you're not even looking to get him out on the field until like mid-December or toward the end of December, all he had to do was just soak in all that information he can possibly to get ready.
Yeah. And people forget too. I mean, when we got Josh Gordon, I think the first game we had him, he played on that Buffalo Bills game the following week after we signed him. And he had he maybe not grasped the playbook to a full extent, but he was on the field that very next game and he had to catch that game. I mean, I can't speak to him not grasping the playbook from beyond that and why he didn't get more touches, but he did play that very next week. So like that, I mean, it is capable for get these guys acclimated fast for maybe a couple plays.
Yeah, well, look, and also too, we got to realize that some of the systems that Josh was in is different than some of the systems that Odell has been in. Mm-hmm. Odell he's more of a slot guy, and so he's used to kind of finding, like I said, those holes in the middle, and so he does a lot of the mesh routes, the crossing routes, hitches, some goes up the field. Josh is one of those, like I say, a big receiver, so you have maybe some post, he might, running, fade ball, running some deep in routes, middle reads and all different things like that. Bodying up. I think those things is what is geared toward his skill set. That's why it was more difficult to have him in this offense, because I always said this is a smaller guy's offense. It's a smaller receiver's offense. Mm-hmm. And so when you have a guy like that, it challenges somebody who has a different a body type, skill set. And so I almost look at it like Allen Robinson out there with the Rams. Yeah. It's like, how come look, this dude is electric, has been. How come he's not getting the football? And so what you seen was, okay, we need to figure out how to use his skill set. And last week they did it. You see, he threw one up top, he went to go get it, did a skill set, threw one back shoulder, went to go get it. Mm. And so you see, like, okay, these are the things we need to do with this guy. And so Josh was kind of more in that vein of type of skill sets. Odell Beckham Jr., slot guy, runs like JuJu, Sky Moore and all those guys, he's that same body type. So he's finding the window, finding the holes. I don't think it would be difficult as far as him coming in and giving us something. I don't at all.
Yeah, and we saw last year he came right in with McVay's offense, and from that first Monday night game against the Niners, he was all systems to go. I mean, he was right in there in the mix right away. I think he had like 5 grabs that game. So they had, I mean, they said they had a set number of plays that were designed for him, like packages for him, but Andy Reid can do that. These guys can do that for him.
They had Robert Jones, Cooper Kupp, right? Mm-hmm. That's the guys they had out there, smaller guys. And so it's like, okay, this is the offense that we run. And I'm sure McVay's like, hey, man, it's real easy. You'll be able to pick this thing up. This is exactly what we're trying to do here offensively. This is what we're trying to attack, right? This is what we want the defense to see. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's what it was a lot easier for them to understand. It was like, okay, well, shoot, I've run this before. This is something, I'm used to. And so if you go ahead and condense it down to where I can, like I said, retain this information of what the plays are, hey, I'll come to speed of getting the entire offense down. But with these packages, I'm good. Yeah, I can do that. It's not a problem. So I don't know. So here I will say this. Okay. As much as we're pushing for Odell Beckham Jr., I still want us to run the football. Okay. Let me just I just want to say that. Okay. We know we pass it all around the place. I don't think passing the ball is is our what's the name it is our Achilles heel.
Yeah.
I think running the football is our problem. That's part of our issue, is establishing the run, because the run will open up the pass. We got to keep saying this just because, hey, I think it's important. Everybody else thinks it's important. And so when you have a guy like this, absolutely he's going to be open. Absolutely he's going to be a weapon out there. You know, he can get some blocks too. He does a good job blocking out there, you know, on the perimeter. But shoot, man, let's get the ball to some of these jokers in the backfield and run the ball a little bit more effective, okay? Whether it be CEH, McKinnon, Pacheco, Rojo. We ain't seen him yet.
Yeah.
We ain't seen him. So, you know, man, I'm going to keep pushing and politicking to run the football even more, right? I love the passing. We got the greatest quarterback in the world, okay? I just want to run the football because I want to take a little bit of pressure off of him.
Yep.
And him getting tattooed sometimes against some of the things that we see defensively.
Mm-hmm. And we saw what Josh Allen was able to do last week when Singletary was able to get about 90 yards and those 15 carries. I mean, things opened up for him, you know.
Well, that was the difference in the game. When you start looking at it, that's the difference. And so, you know, you're not looking at second and long or third and long. And so when it's something is, you know, easier to manage because it's third and short or second and short, you know, running the football is one of those things that you just got to be able to do effectively and efficiently, especially in this league. So,
hopefully, and you know what? Regardless, it's something I looked earlier at the free agent class next year, and I know it's way too early, but if the running game situation continues in the kind of trajectory that's going in right now, where we're not really getting much from it, that free agent class next year, running back wise, is pretty good. I mean, you go 10 deep. I saw Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison. I'm forgetting a bunch of other guys, but it's a very deep list of running backs. So worst case, the trajectory of this running back kind of stays the same. This running back room stays the same. Yeah. There's going to be options in the offseason, and running backs don't get paid that much. So, you know, we can maybe go get somebody.
Yeah, I just thought it was important to just bring that point up. You know what I mean? I just, you know, hey, we could get everybody here, you know, catching the football, no doubt about it. I think, you know, we need to have something up front so these guys can start teeing off on some of these linebackers at second levels and some of these corners and all of that, that we could be more balanced offense. And I'm just, for us, balance is 60-30, right? Yeah. 60-30, 10, maybe something like that, 60-40. We're looking at maybe 70-30. I'm sorry, that's what we're looking at more. That's our balance, right? Yeah. Instead of the 90-10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 60-30. Yeah, 60-40. I'm sorry.
And quite frankly, if it continues to go this way, Rojo could be someone we need to see, I think. I think, regardless, I think we need to see him at some point this year. We have to. And I know it's going to be, right now he's inactive every game, but like, I think we just need to activate him and see what we got.
But, I mean, what's going to hurt?
I mean,
the man can't do any worse. I mean, we know what he was able to do down there in Tampa. So, hey, he can't be any worse. Believe me. Yeah. And so I think he might have a little spark. He might have a little bit of a little fire up underneath him because he hadn't had a chance to play. And the joke is fresh.
Yeah,
he got fresh legs. You know what I mean? So that's probably your best bet. Bringing somebody like that in who ain't had no licks at practice or out there on the field. Bring old fresh legs in. Oh, fresh legs. Woo. Bring him in. Come on, Rojo.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen like some fans out there who are just, obsessed with Pacheco. And he's got potential. We don't know what his ceiling is, right? But we haven't really seen it yet. So it's not like he has that job locked that we need to feed him more carries. Really, outside the Buccaneers game, we haven't seen much, right? You could say he hasn't really got many carries, but when people bring up Rojo, people are like, oh, well, he dominated against the Packers, like 2s and 3s. Well, so did Pacheco, and Pacheco's getting carries in the games and stuff. So let's see what we got with Rojo too. So.
Yeah, right. It's no disparaging marks against Pacheco at all.
Yeah,
just like you want to see what you got. I mean, you got a guy here for a reason. So, if you got a guy coming here and he's your best window cleaner, you ain't gonna have him sitting over here and watch the window get dirty the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Got somebody else in here doing this. Like, man, this is supposed to be the best guy. Let's put him in here and see what he can do. And so, why not try it? Why not?
We're not paying him 1 year, $5 million just to be a scout team running back.
Yeah, come on. No, shouldn't do that. I said we ain't gonna, but we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So,
JD, so they say the teams for Odell are between us, Buffalo Bills, the Rams, Ravens, and Packers. If you were to make a case, if you were to talk to Odell and just to make a case for why Chiefs over the other teams, what would you tell him? If you were to watch this clip, so I'm going to clip this, I'm going to put it on Twitter. If you were to watch this clip, what would you want him to get out of this?
Well, it's real simple. The real simple is you're going to play for an AFC championship, and not only that, but also a Super Bowl. And so you got a guy that has an arm that can make any throw. He's going to get the ball to you if you're open. Hey, it's a no-brainer. You're going to a winning organization. The pinnacle of everything in the NFL has been coming through Kansas City. And so we need to understand that. It's not even like even a question, right? You could say Ravens, you could talk Bills and stuff. The guys that's been on top over the past 4 years, Kansas City Chiefs. Primetime, premier team, best organization in football, Kansas City Chiefs. And so if you like going to LA and all these other places in New York, this is a nice halfway point everywhere that you need to go. So that's another thing, though, too. But I don't see why you wouldn't want to go here and go play with the best quarterback in the business. You had a bad time in Cleveland. You got out there with Stafford, did a pretty decent job. But you want to play with the best, hey, Kansas City Chiefs, no-brainer. Could use you.
And Arrowhead Stadium, the field, that's real grass right there. It ain't artificial turf.
Yeah, real grass. That give, hey, you want to take care of that ACL and that knee? Perfect place. When I'm telling you, the grounds crew out in Kansas City, they make sure, man, the place is impeccable. I'm telling you, it's nice. The fans are incredible. The whole ambiance, environment of Kansas City, you cannot beat it. Best organization, best fans. That, without a doubt, Kansas City. That's the place to be.
Odell, you heard the man. You heard the man, Odell. All right. Okay, so transitioning to the other thing. So there was two fields of thought here when the restructure of Kelce's contract happened. It was either, Odell, or are we looking to go fill something up on defense, maybe the edge rusher, D tackle? So my question to you, if OBJ is not the target of this freeing up cap space, what would be a position or need or player you'd want for us to either sign or trade? And the names I've seen online either range from Ndamukong Suh, who Sue is a free agent, so we just sign him. We don't draft capital involved. But there's a lot of players who people are speculating that could be available. And I'm just going to list the players out there. Carolina's Brian Burns, edge rusher, and then you got DJ Moore, receiver. Bears, Robert Quinn, another name that we talked about in the offseason. Another name I've read is Washington's Montez Sweat, edge rusher. And then some are suggesting that Josh Allen could be had from Jacksonville, who played with Joe Cullen in Jacksonville. So my question to you, JD, is who would you want us to either sign or trade draft capital for, and what position of need do you think is the top right now for us?
Position of need. I was saying this, I said this last year when we was going through the draft, is defensive end, pass rusher. That's what we need. That's the need. And so, I question why we didn't go after two pass rushers in the draft in the first few rounds, getting guys in here, and we just didn't. We just went a different direction. And I kind of scratched my head at it because I understand that, okay, well, what we're going to get out of Frank Clark, we're going to get out of some of these other guys that we bring in free agency. And it seemed like a lot of guys that other teams were signing, we had a chance and we passed on them. We passed because it was too expensive for us to have, or they just felt like, hey, we wait for another guy to come up, right? And so before we know it, we was kind of sitting back and holding the bag like, okay, well, where's everybody at? So we ended up signing Carlos Dunlap. He's been doing a decent job. I think he's actually been a pleasant surprise, man. I like his game. I think he's been given a lot of pressure. but kind of going back to what we were talking about, if I had my druthers, if I had my choice of guys to get, two guys completely jump out on me. All those other guys, all the guys you named are good guys. Every single one of them guys are guys that can play ball. But two that jump out, man, is Josh Allen and Brian Burns. I mean, it's just, to me, if I'm going after like youth, guys that's effective right now and watching them play, how they come after the football and pass rushing, come on now. I'm going after the young guys. I'm going after Brian Burns and Josh Allen. And so if we can do something to kind of get those guys here, I think that is a piece that once you get here, he'll stay here for a long time. He's going to be effective. I mean, you know what I mean? We're catching guys at their youth right now, where they're starting their career off. And so that would be perfect. And so we know probably next year, Frank may not be here. He'll probably, part ways with Frank. We don't know how everything's going to go. But I would bank on getting a pass rusher in here that's going to be here for a long time. Robert Quinn is one of those guys that just, he's older, right? I mean, he had a great year last year, but, he's an older guy. So if you're trying to, invest in a guy for the future, get one of these younger guys, some of these younger sack guys, right? And so I just see a lot of potential. I love these two guys with Brian Burns and Josh Allen. I just love their game, man, and they bring it every single play. That's what I like about it.
And one of the things that I've seen online in regards to Brian Burns, for example, say the Carolina is going to want a first-round pick for him, and we already know what kind of caliber player he is, right?
Yeah.
But take us back to the conversation we had around the offseason and during the draft. Remember when there was kind of something floated around that Clark Hunt did not want Veach trading that first-round pick this year's draft because we're going to be hosting the draft.
Mm-hmm. Fast
forward to now, we're in this predicament right now where this guy could be had for a first-round pick, and he's still on a rookie deal. He's young. Would you trade that first-round pick for Brian Burns, even though Clark Hunt wants that first-round pick for while we host the draft next year? I mean, I think it's team first, right?
Yeah, I mean, are we looking at the optics of like just having a first-round pick, or are we looking at having the experience and having somebody who is effective that's going to come in and be a baller? Mm-hmm. That's the question. Like, no, we don't want to give us away because we want to keep the first-round pick because it's we hosting with the whole city. I don't know. I don't know if I can go with that argument. Shoot, if we get this guy and he can make us win like right now, we don't have to develop a guy in like 1 or 2 or 3 years. Hey, come on in. Bring him on in. And so I don't, I know the Hunts and everything, they're thinking about those things. And so, having Veach, he's a willer and diller, and so if it works for the team, they'll have a guy like that in here. Hey, we'll go and give him a first-round pick. Hey, but we'll make it a point that every single person that comes up to the podium who's getting chosen, you're going to see a big old Kansas City, just, you're going to make sure you see where it's at, right? So, Kansas City doesn't have a draft this year, but they got to show they did get a great sack guy, good defensive end in either Josh Allen or Brian Burns. I like that conversation.
Yeah.
So, I'm not opposed to that, not at all. So,
yeah, between Josh Allen and Brian Burns, you would have you wouldn't care either way. Would you have preference? I mean, considering Josh Allen did play with Joe Cullen, our D-line coach, I mean, would that be a leg up for that reason?
You know what? I like Josh Allen. Josh came from UK. I know, people that know him and talk highly of him. I'm watched him out there, man. And so he's a stud out there, no doubt about it. Yeah. I think Brian Burns, what he has about him is he's got a lot of being. He's got a mixed bag of stuff, man. He does. He's got a lot in his repertoire.
It's fun to watch.
So kind of watching him, man, he kind of reminds me, like after really kind of watching him, he has like that frame, like Parsons. You know what I'm saying? Like it's real thin. Yeah. He kind of get up the field. He could, man. When I'm talking about when he gets low and that being on somebody, it's over once he gets on you. Mm-hmm. So I think, one of the things he had to work on, of course, was his strength. And he's, he has like that frame, but it's a little thinner frame. But shoot, when you pass, rushing the pass, all you need to do is make sure nobody get their hands on you. Dude, you just chopping down hands at that point. As long as you ain't letting nobody get engaged, hey, you'd be fine. Yeah. So, Josh, of course, with Cullen, maybe a preference, right? Stronger guy. I like him. Brian Burns, shoot, I like him too. Real. Tip for tat, man. Seriously.
Yeah. I'd be okay with either one of them. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think more so, I've seen more speculation that Carolina's looking just to blow it up and have as many draft picks as possible. So I think that's more realistic getting Burns than it is Josh Allen. But based on what I've read, I really haven't heard much from the Jaguars trying to trade some of their young pieces on that. But I do know that Carolina's speculation is they're hearing calls for all their guys, DJ Moore, McCaffrey, Burns, and we saw them trading Robbie Anderson this week. Not the same caliber as Burns, but they are trading guys.
Right. I look at it. It's just another weapon in your arsenal. It's another guy that you can bring in defensively that's going to help out your team right now. And so with our talented linebackers, our very young and talented secondary, and that would just absolutely make the defense that much better.
Yeah,
absolutely would. And so I'm not opposed to that at all. I seriously, that'd be a great choice. If we was able to get a deal done, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But that's me. I don't know. Hey, that's me.
I think you'd be a good GM, JD.
I think I would too. Marcus. Believe it.
I will say, if that were to happen, I think going from talking about our DN being kind of the weakest spot of our team, like in the offseason, probably one of the best, because then you're talking Burns, Karlaftis, Dunlap, Clark becomes more like a fourth guy, Mike Dana. There's just so many guys on the edge spot. I mean, that'd be amazing if we could get that. But I mean, we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. Oh man, gosh, that'd be great. I will say, talk about you being a GM. Why is it that the NFL, there's not many former players have come into being the GM spot? Whereas you see that more in basketball, where you got guys like Elton Brand, GM, James Jones. You see a lot more in basketball than you do in the NFL. But why is that?
It is, I say, probably because some of the relationships in football, in the NFL, and how it is in the NBA is different. To be honest with you. Got a much smaller group of guys that's a little bit more intimate with, upper management and all that. I think it's part of the reason. And so, maybe some of the owners and whatnot just think like, hey, look, I can't have this guy was, getting behind closed doors, actually, working against me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to make sure we have the same, the same goal at hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be it. But that's what I think. I think NBA is just a little bit different animal. I do. I just think sometimes the relationships how they're just developed is a tad different.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for those guys to kind of transition into like that
executive role.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Next, I always wonder that. It's like, you see. Oh, the GM of this team, you look into him and say, oh, what did he do? It's like, oh, well, he played like a D3 school, but he was a scout for a long time. Then he ended up being a GM. It's like, interesting. So a guy, I mean, he never played at that level, but he's the GM. It's very interesting, because you see in basketball, it's more so guys who actually were in the trenches, who did play, and they are the GM. So I was curious.
But I agree with you that there should be more. I think that opportunity should be presented to more guys. No doubt about it. Matter of fact, I would prefer it that way.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me, right? It just makes sense to have a guy like that to come in that understands football, understand guys and whatnot, that could do a great job in the front office as being a GM.
And also, you all, not only is it the talent aspect, you all understand the contract negotiation aspect as well, since you were involved in that, since it was your contracts we're talking about, right? So, like,
yeah, absolutely, a little bit more personable, right? It's like, hey, man, look, I've been on the other side. I know how that feels. I understand what that is. Look, I tell you what, I'm gonna treat you fair. So I'm gonna make sure we take care of you, treat you fair, that we care about you. And so sometimes you need to know that that person that is across from you is got your best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might see it as GM, it's like, man, who is this guy? This pistol neck dude that I can't really trust, and fluffing me up for whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? How can I trust that? And so I got to go from his word. Not saying that but also too, we know that their interest may be more so geared and in line toward the owners as opposed to the players, and just being kind of like the catalyst between them both, saying like, look, man, let's get this thing together, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that, man, come on. I think that's a match made in heaven, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's the same reason why when you see like podcasts, for example, the ones people want to hear from the most are the ones where former players are involved, because you have that picture behind the scenes. We get the views from the bleachers and stuff, and what we see the press, the podiums, and Instagram posts. But you guys are actually behind the scenes, seeing that you're on the field. You're there. You are the main event. You are what we're watching. So that's why, and like beyond podcasts, we go into the NFL world. You guys know what you're looking for. You know what works, what doesn't work. You know the contract negotiation stuff. You know all that stuff. So I mean, it's weird that it's not more. Like John Lynch is one.
What's the name? Quarterback.
Elway.
Yeah.
And that's two in how many years? I mean.
Right.
I'm sure there are more than that, but it's very small. That former player,
very small. Position. Right, very small.
Matt Millen, another one.
Matt Millen, yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably a bad example because he whiffed on a lot of.
I think Matt Millen, man, was just arrogant. He was just so stubborn that he just didn't want to change in his ways. A lot of it, and that's what you can't do. You can't be that guy, right? You can't be that guy. So. Yeah, it's a good question. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because I was watching an NBA game earlier, and I was like, it was a Sixers game last night. I thought about Elton Brand, and I was like James Jones. I was like, okay. I mean, these are younger guys too. I mean, they just played. I mean, Elton Brand played 4 years ago, and then all of a sudden he's the GM of the Sixers, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you think about it more, like that doesn't really happen in the NFL, and it's wild to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully that does happen. Hopefully we start to see more of that, but yeah, it's just crazy that it's these scouts that become the GMs of the entire team. And it's like, what did that guy play? Oh no, he didn't ever play football. He's always been, his dad was a coach, and he go to the games with his dad and watch. It's like, okay, well, all right.
Yeah.
But some of these guys are successful. So
yeah, man, it's about, you hand the keys over.
Yeah.
So you trust the person giving the keys to. That's the real question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And like you said, the owners have a big hand in that, kind of the alignment aspect of that too. So
yeah,
I'm sure at some point some team's going to do that in the future. We're going to see a younger, like former player who just maybe retires. Like a couple of years later, he becomes the GM of the team he retired for, and I could totally see that it's going to happen at some point, and then we're going to start seeing that direction. And NBA, I will say that NBA is one of those few leagues that kind of is the head of the game in a lot of aspects, where you start to see other pro leagues kind of follow in line with that. I would say, as far as being the kind of the first to do stuff, NBA kind of does that first, and then you start to see other ones kind of fall in line.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, so it's San Francisco 49ers week, and it's the rematch of Super Bowl 54, Super Bowl LIV, where we famously won the nice little comeback, Jet Chip Wasp. So this week we're kind of playing, as much as we say it's been a couple of years since that Super Bowl, a lot is, kind of not changed over there in that San Francisco team. Obviously they still have Kyle Shanahan as their head coach, and they still like to run the ball, even without Eli Mitchell. They're still toting the rock with their kind of their hodgepodge of guys with Jeff Wilson Jr. And Deebo Samuel. But that's kind of where I want to go with this question here, is the fact that we've had trouble over the last two games with the Raiders, Buffalo Bills, being able to stop the run. Josh Jacobs had his, I think, career high against us. And then Singletary, it wasn't his career high. It was up there with his career high last week as far as rush yards against us. This week we got some of our cavalries coming back. We got Trent McDuffie coming back. And it looks like Willie Gay will be coming back as well. And you can spell him and Darius Harris. I think we have some good linebackers at that position, also Bolton. But how do you see a different kind of a game plan that we'll see this weekend versus what we saw over the last 2 weeks against the Raiders and the Bills, as far as how we kind of line up defensively, knowing that we've gotten gashed over the last 2 weeks from running the ball?
I think so. I think our emphasis is, to stop the run, stop Deebo Samuel, stop what's the other guy with Hasty or something like that?
Jeff Wilson Jr.
Wilson, right. So Wilson is out there, man. And, so that would probably be the emphasis right now this week, is making sure you stop the run. You want Jimmy G to beat you throwing the football, right? And so that's just kind of reality. They got talented guys, man. They do. It was Ayuk or whatever his name is. He out there.
Yeah.
You're talking about Kittle. So they got some guys out there on the outside that can go and catch the football. They can do some damage. But their main thing that they do is they come through the run. And so they got that, the Swiss Army knife and Deebo Samuel who could do it all. And so, you stop him, get some pressure on Garofalo, run some nice little blitzes. Hey, I think those things that hit home. I really do. And so, but we definitely got to stop the run, no doubt about it. We just can't, get them going. But look, man, I think, I like, Willie Gay coming back. Harris did a good job, filling in for him. He did a tremendous job, actually. That just looked like just a regular old starter to me. I didn't think we fell off that much from the linebacker core at all. But I know Willie's going to come in and he's going to be ready. He's going to be excited to get back in, with the action to make some tackles out there on the football field. So that'd be good. Our emotional leader, right? Our emotional leader is getting back out there on the field. And so I know he's going to be ready for this game.
And he, while Harris did well in playing in that position, Willie Gay's probably the most athletic guy on our defense. He's just kind of he's an athletic freak. He can play all the field. And he's a great coverage backer as well. He's great. One thing, the Niners will have Trent Williams back too for this game. That's what the reports are. He'll probably be playing too. So that's going to kind of add another little element to the kind of what they want to do as far as in the trenches.
Yeah, that's a big piece. That's a big piece for them. Shoot, they needed to have the monster back. That's their guy. That's the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the man. So, hey, okay, let him come back. We're going to dust him off too. He shows up.
We talk about Willie Gay and Harris, the linebackers. There was a few tweets from people in Chiefs Kingdom, kind of the guys who break down videos and stuff, and always talk about plays, and I love the content, but sometimes these people with their content, they kind of get a little too carried away with certain plays they watch, and they kind of just go overblown with their takes and kind of overreactionary takes, I would say. But the one clip and one kind of take it's kind of carried away this week is Nick Bolton regressing. They say Nick Bolton's kind of regressed this season, and I thought it was kind of crazy when I saw that. But there's a few different people. I think Zach Kaizen was the one guy who said a clip, who put a clip out talking about his regression, and then a bunch of other people kind of carried on with that as well. So, based on what you've seen about Nick Bolton, have you seen a regression?
Not personally, no. I think he's as stellar as always. But he had 13 tackles last game. 9 solo. Is that regression? That I don't know. I don't know what I tell you. For real. So I think you check me on my stats, but I know that Joker was all over the field making plays. If anything, if he's the one making all those tackles, then you need to talk to the D line. That's one that you need to address. But here we talking about maybe three weeks removed from being defensive player of the week. So that's regressing. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get that part of it. So what I've seen and what he had to deal with, if anybody has been as solid as anybody on the defensive side of the ball, it's been him. He's a tackling machine. That's what he does. He's a guy who's a leader. He's all over the field. He's making plays. He's always making plays. And so sometimes when when you're going against, teams that are pass happy, he's got to do some more of the coverage, right? But when you talk about sideline to sideline, Nick he's right there. He is right there. I wouldn't say he's the biggest of guys, but he plays big. I mean, he's all over the place. And so I don't know. Maybe that's people's opinion. Mine is different. And I'm looking at, if I'm sitting over here offensively and I'm checking about who's your guys, your studs on the defensive side of the ball, Kansas City, that guy in the middle, we need to stop. He's going to be all over the field. He's going to be making tackles. So we got to make sure we get a hat on him to the second level. We got to make sure we get him, okay? Because he's the anchor of the defense. Chris Jones is also in the middle, but hey, when everything goes to that second level, Nick Bolton, he's going to be right there on the tackle. He's going to be all over the place. So, you know what? Sometimes I think, and this is what we got to be careful in doing. All right, let's just be honest here. Is when you suffer a loss, it's like people trying to find things to blame. It's like it's always trying to find something like, hey, well, this wasn't right or this wasn't right, and this. Okay, you can find one or two plays and magnify that to say this was not, his best play, or he's, regressing and all. No, man, I just don't buy that at all. I don't. Like I said, if I see somebody all over the field, man, it's Nick Bolton. I do. But like I said, if it's something that like if we're getting gassed in the middle, the job of the defensive tackles is to make sure that those linemen and whatnot don't get on him. They don't get to the second level. And so if they get to the second level and they're kind of muddling, it up for him to see what lanes to run through and how to get around, then we need better D-line play. Let's just call it what it is. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of it. It all starts up front. It all starts in the trenches. And somebody who's sitting there saying that doesn't understand that right there, it has to be D-line play to stop the run. You got to take two. You got to be in the gap. All these things is technique, is discipline. All those things have to happen. Guys got to play at a high level, okay? You want your linebackers to run free and start making plays, you got to win up front, period. So I haven't seen anything like that, so I'll look back over the film, but what I see in my eyes, Nick Bolton's still making plays. Period. Bottom line. So,
yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet. Yeah, Zach Eisen was the person. And he said Chiefs fans are going to be mad at this, but Nick Bolton has taken a step back this year. Was a tweet followed by clips of him, getting pushed back in the Buffalo Bills game, for example. I mean, I've seen that, but
13 for 9, 3 weeks removed from being defensive player of the week. Regressive.
He's third in the league. He's third in the league in solo tackles too, as well.
Third in the league, really? In the entire NFL?
Okay, he's tied for second with 3 other people.
Oh, it's even better. Okay, tied for second. Well, shoot. And he's regressing? No, man. I do know that's a silly comment. I do know that. That's silly.
Yeah.
13 for, hold on. I think I put that 13 for 9. I think I looked at in my notes.
Yeah,
13.
He had 9 solo on Sunday.
9 solo. By himself. That's what solo means, right?
Yep.
I'm just okay.
Yep.
I'm just making sure I understand, English language is how this thing is, man. It's like sometimes, man, it's misguided, feel of like wanting to be upset about certain things. Like I see how that, like when this kind of comes out, it's like nitpicky on things. And they're saying it, and it's like, okay, we got a loss here. We were 4-2. Could easily be, like they said, a couple field goals away, and stop the Bills and get the ball at the end. We 6-0. We 6-0.
Yeah.
But hey, man, let's nitpick everybody. Somebody's regressing. Somebody ain't good enough. All right, let's just be truthful and let's see things for what they are. All right. I don't know. Nick Bolton is still playing at a high level to me. Okay. So I'll watch him this Sunday. I'm gonna go back and watch him the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do it, and please say something, because I feel like it's the negative, and not like anything. It's the negative that gets propped up from people, and I think people think also by saying negative comments, the negative comments are the ones that are going to get you more retweets, more likes. Like, oh, I think so and so's. It's like having a crazy take. Like, oh, really? You think Nick Bolton's taking a step back this year? Well, why is that? He had 9 tackles last week. How is he taking a step back? Well, here's a play here where he gets driven back a few yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's just be selective on what plays we want to put out there. Mm-hmm. I guarantee every single play, guys are going to win and lose in the NFL. It's just that's how it works. Guys are going to win or lose in the NFL. I guarantee you watch any guy, every single snap, he's going to take an L on one of those snaps, or 2 of those, or several of those snaps. Okay, I just know that sucker had 9 solo tackles.
Mm-hmm.
That's not regression.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that isn't. So,
yeah, I mean, if you look at his numbers, we say he's tied for second in the league, but 9 solo against Buffalo, 7 against Vegas, 6 against Tampa. He had 6 solo against Indianapolis on top of 2 sacks in that game.
2 sacks
from a middle linebacker.
That was the defensive player of the week. That's when he was there for that. Yeah, I remember that week.
Yeah, and I'm sure that person was tweeting great things about Nick Bolton then, and then 2 weeks later, he's really regressed. It's like, okay.
Oh, it's his fault. Oh, okay. It's his fault. He's regressing. Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hey, man. Everybody got their opinion.
Yeah,
that's mine. I'm spouting mine. Mine. I know when I'm sitting over here and I'm stopping guys and I'm putting in my game plan, I'm watching out for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know who is tied for second in the league for tackles, right? Solo tackles. I know that. I guarantee if you don't get on this guy, what he's going to do. So, it's funny. I'm going to say that I never forget this. We were playing Chicago Bears, okay? And Brian Urlacher was the linebacker. He was kind of years, and the coach came in. Oh man, he don't have it anymore. He regressed and all of this, and he just doesn't run like he used to. That sucker had like 25 tackles, 6 sacks. I mean, but he was all over the field. I'm talking about you can hear the hits. I'm like, man, you were talking about him? This guy right here was the one that you said lost a step, can't run sideline to sideline. Everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. It was a lie. Man.
What year was that, 03?
I don't know. I don't know what year it was. I'm not sure. But I know what it was. That sucker was all over the field. Like he was hitting the water boy, the cheerleaders, everybody. Everything that was moving out there, he was hitting. He was hitting. So I remember that. I was like, that's a lie. I don't know where you got your scouting report at, but Dad got it. He must have heard it or something like that. But he was all over the field.
I looked. I found a Chiefs Bears 03.
Mm-hmm.
He had 7 tackles and a sack that game. 7 solo tackles and a sack that game. And then you guys played him again. I believe your last year there, 07.
Yeah. It might have been it.
Yeah, he was definitely older in his career. He had 9 total tackles, 8 solo tackles, and a sack that game.
It's like all over the field. I'm trying to tell you, this like look like he made every tackle. I'm literally, older now. No, he can't run like shit. All right, don't tell him that. He don't know that. he didn't get that memo.
That's funny. Well, it's too like if you look at Gay and so now we have Gay back. Gay and Bolton are 2 guys that are always all over the field. Like they're literally in on every tackle. Like, who made that tackle? You see the bot underneath them. It's like, it's either 50 or 32 every time.
Right, sideline to sideline, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes after a loss, people want to point out negatives. So they look for something that might be obscure that you may not hear a lot. Like,
right.
He's bad.
No doubt. Yeah, right, no doubt. No doubt that's going on. So, bringing supposedly attention to a non-issue or the factor. I just whatever, man.
Non-issue for sure. And the only, I think the one thing we talked about the post-game show is that the one issue is like, oh, we need to find a new kick returner because we're not getting enough out of that kick return spot. Maybe get more touchbacks or find someone that can run that position. And I've heard kind of radio silence on that issue. And I think that's
crickets.
Yeah, and that's more of an issue than Nick Bolton regressing.
Right. And the reason that is because it's not sexy. It's not a sexy part of football.
Mm-hmm.
They won't talk about the return game, which is so important for field position.
Mm-hmm.
Field position.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're taught to run it out of the end zone. And remember, we talked about this during the preseason. I'm like, well, why do we keep running out of the end zone? Oh, they're taught that and they're just getting them ready. You're teaching them bad habits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's come back and we see it. I've said that. Okay. That got it out. Hello, special teams coach here. Play special teams. You teaching bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. No bueno. It's no good. And so all of a sudden you start seeing somebody who doesn't have any wiggle back there, right? I don't mind talking about that.
Yeah.
That's not Pacheco's strong suit. It's not Sky Moore's strong suit.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Hardman, that's a strong suit. He has a much better strong suit, doing those things like that. I'd rather put him back there, him up a punt or something like that, as opposed to guys who are not getting no yards and putting him in a bad position.
Yeah.
Patrick shouldn't have to drive 80 yards down the field each and every play. He shouldn't have to do it every series. He shouldn't.
Yeah.
Of the touchdown. Or even go 90. We had to go 90 sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how much psychologically what that puts on the offense? Shoot, believe me.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's tough. Yeah. I'm like, man, do your job. How about that? How about we get some field goal or some yardage?
Yeah,
we get some. Yeah,
make life easier for our offense.
Yeah, make it easier, right? Get on the short field. Heck, get to the 40, man. You only get 60 yards to go, man. You know how much we've set up? Oh, 60 yards? Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Matter of fact, we only need really not the 60. Shoot, just to get you about 20 or 30, so we can kick it.
Yeah.
Now you're in position to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Right. So we got strong leg. Mr. Strong Leg's back.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Baby steps, JD. Just take touchbacks. we'll drive 75 yards instead of driving 90 yards.
Right. Hey, man. Like that. Dunn. It's in the end zone. Let it go. Yeah. But that's not talked about enough. And it was so glaring with the coach. They was talking about just like the field goals that he missed, but it wasn't about the returns. Like the whole aspect of like a football game is the three aspects that got to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Got to work in one accord: offense, defense, and special teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's your three phases of the game that has to be on point all the time, and you can't miss out on one and feel like the other one's supposed to make that up. That's not fair. It's not fair for the other team to be doing things like that. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Colts game, it was highlighted, like the special teams blunders, the muff punt, the missed kicks, the go for on fourth down, but like the return game, it's something. Yeah, it's not being talked about at all.
It was happening 2 or 3 weeks ago. Nobody said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about it. So,
and we got called out for even pointing it out during the preseason. Oh, they're told to do that. Okay, so what? Like that. So that's the issue then. No, it's not Pacheco's fault. He's being told that, but maybe it's
right.
Let's highlight the special teams coach.
Maybe we shouldn't be telling them to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't be teaching them bad habits. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-mm.
I get, at the end of the half, and it's still this knowing, where you are.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, if you got some seconds at the end of the half or something, you're trying to get some yards, maybe make a play. I get that part. I get that. But if it's not, and you just no. Oh my gosh. That right there, that pisses me off. Every time I'm sitting, I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Shoot. I know. As an offense, we go out, we want field position.
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, hey, man, hey, Tobes, what's happening? We want field position, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, rest his arm every once in a while.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I wonder if Patrick's ever gone up to him and said, like, "Yo, like, just let them kneel the ball in the end zone. Like, we don't need a freaking returnist."
I promise you that it's been eye rolls and oh my gosh, I promise you that.
Like, here we go again, type shit.
Absolutely, I guarantee that. I have no doubt about. Believe me, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to give it. And Tube, I think Tube's been a good coach. I think maybe this whole like take it out of the end zone. I feel like maybe it's been a Tube rule his whole career. But like, dude, you don't have Devin because he used to be the Chicago Bears special teams coach. You don't have Devin Hester. You don't have Tyreek
Hester. Right.
You don't have those guys back there, dude.
Right.
It's a big difference. We have guys who aren't kick returning for us. You don't have them take it out of the end zone.
Now, if you have a guy, okay, who's on the practice squad and still Ely, right? Ely's a guy that he's got that little wiggle room, but he's not the 53 man. He's not moved up. He got that ability. So other than that,
yeah.
Hey.
It should be rules by your personnel, not a full-on flat rule, but based on your personnel, you either let it go or you return it because I think you can take it to the house. But if you're a guy who's hasn't really shown much wiggle or east-west movement, let's take it. Let's take it to 25. That's right. Good. That's good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully we won't have to deal with that anymore. Hopefully there's no more of this. Maybe after this game, maybe it's a wake-up call in the special teams room. I don't know. Hopefully we don't have to address this again, but if it does, I hope we get some videos and BS tweets on that because that's an issue. Whereas we're talking about Nick Bolton regressing, which is nonsense.
Right, you got to do something. But I get that sometimes guys got to earn their their living. They got to earn. It's like, oh well, we got to put this guy here, right? We got to justify why we have him up here playing.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's a reality too. So,
yeah. All right. Okay. So our final topics are game prediction. Chiefs are currently a 2.5-point favorite at San Francisco on Fox's America Game of the Week, which is at 4:25 on Sunday, which is the Super Bowl LIV rematch, Super Bowl 54 rematch. Chiefs, actually interesting about this. Chiefs opened up as a 4-point favorite, but now the line stands at 2.5-point favorite as of today. JD, who do you have, and what are the keys to victory on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers?
Key to victory. Obviously, I got the Chiefs winning. But, main points, 3 of them. Number 1, most important, keep Patrick Mahomes upright. Okay? Bottom line, keep him upright. That way he can take him out. He can go ahead and slice up the defense. Keep Patrick Mahomes up. Right. Number 2, stop the runs. Stop Debo. Get pressure on Garoppolo. That's your second point. That's another key for victory. Okay. Number 3, hey, play at a high level all the time. Don't take a series off. You look to score every single series that you're out there. Offensively, defensively, taking nobody for granted. Every time you go out there, it's going for blood. And I'm not just talking about the players, I'm talking about the coaches too. I'm talking about you out there to make a statement. You're talking about you focused up. We are going in to wreak havoc in San Fran, period. Bottom line. Okay? So that's what it is. So we talking about staying focused. Patrick said it, focus up. Okay? Key to victory, focus up. Okay? For 60 minutes. 60 minutes focused up. And that's going to be the key to victory. And I'm looking at right now, 34-17.
Ooh, all right.
Pin drop, there it is. So, maybe I'm amped over here. I'm just amped. I'm just be playing around with us.
I mean, they just lost to, an inferior team in Atlanta. And the interesting part was Mariota only threw 14 passes in that game. He went 13 of 14, and they won by 2 touchdowns in that game. That's crazy.
Right. Well, if Mariota's doing it like that, then, shoot, Patrick Mahomes ought to have him an absolute field day.
Yeah, that's true. Over under as far as total points in that game is 48.5 points. So you have over with 51. So.
Yeah, I had 31 to 17 first, but I just at 34 just kind of sung to me a little bit. Right. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm stick with it 34.
I like it. I'm all about that. If we can put 34 points on this defense, which everyone was loving for the first 4 weeks of the season, that's pretty impressive. It's an impressive mark. So
yeah, we at least gonna put 31. I got that. Shoot, for real.
What's that?
I said we're gonna at least get 31 for sure.
Okay, I'm all about that. Do we get a 100-yard rusher this game, or what are you thinking? I guess. Okay, who leads the way between the three? McKinnon, CH, or Pacheco?
McKinnon going back though.
That's true.
Yeah, McKinnon going back. I think CH is gonna have a good one. I think he's gonna have a good one. I think you're gonna bring all three in, change your pace. Pacheco's gonna get a little bit of his too. He's gonna get a couple little looks, some juice. He might get about 6 carries. 6 carries for Pacheco. I'm gonna say 10 or 8 for CH. And I think McKinnon might get about 6. So what's that, 12? I said that's 20 carries. That's what I'm looking at. That's what it came down to, Marcus. That's my math. 20 carries. Yeah. So
it's funny when I was looking at the Bears game, the 2003 one, which we won 31-3. The 2007 one, we lost 20-10. But the 31-3 one, your boy Babes had a catch for 20 yards in that game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what he did? I remember that. They used to run the boy. That joker. They used to catch the ball now. That's for sure.
It must have been with Collins though, because Collins went 3 for 3 for 41 yards when he came in. So yeah, he must have been one of the catches that he had.
Yeah. oh, Babes, Billy Baby. Yeah.
And that full game is actually on YouTube. So if anybody wants to watch some retro Bears Chiefs from 2003, it's fully on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out.
Oh, shoot. I might go check it out there and see what it's all about.
All right, fellas. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys next week. Well, actually, we'll see you guys Sunday for the postgame show right after the San Francisco 49ers and Chiefs play. And then that'll be our bye week. And then you'll see us again the following Thursday for our to preview week 9. This is week 7, bye week 8, week 9. Yeah. So preview week 9. And who do we play week 9? The next time you see us after the post game show. Tennessee. So we play bye week, then we got Tennessee. So yeah, post game show with us. We'll bye week break. We'll have some goodie. We'll have some videos on the YouTube channel, so you guys can stay up to date with different things that are going on with Chief Concerns. But you'll see us again for week 9 for the preview show. But don't forget post game show on Sunday after the Chiefs 49ers game. So we'll see you guys then. Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.